So moving to Virginia Beach, there's lots of great reasons to move here and some reasons you might not want to. So let's go over the pros and cons right now. Think about it and see if it makes sense for you to move here to Virginia Beach. So first and foremost, it's right in the name. Virginia Beach. The beach is right here. So you can get a place down, say at the north end, where you can walk to the beach, ride a bike, just get across Atlantic Avenue, or maybe you're right on the ocean side and you can get right there to the beach. You can be down in Bay Colony, real quick ride to the beach. You can be down in the tourist area or maybe down in Sandbridge, and it's all right there. You could also be up in the Chesapeake Bay area. There's some townhouses or some smaller homes up there that are right on the bay that are incredibly affordable. You can be right there on the beach, short walk, or right across the shore drive from the Chesapeake Bay. In both cases, huge, big, wide beaches. Obviously, you're going to have more wave action out on the ocean than you're on the Chesapeake Bay. So if you're a surfer or you're really into that, you're going to want to be on the ocean. And if you're into some nice calm, just maybe wading and up to your knees, taking the dog, throw a tennis ball or something, maybe you want to be on the Chesapeake Bay. Either way, both are great places if you just want to be on the beach. In all cases, the sands here is amazing. Big, long, wide beaches, plenty of room for to set up with a family with chairs and tents or anything else you want. There's no vehicles allowed on the beaches, and you can have animals, dogs from Labor Day to Memorial Day. It depends on exactly where you are on the beach, but in general, that's fine, especially in the winter months. There are certain areas where you can do it year round, but in the end, it's a great, great place, easily accessible. Tons of public beach access. Up and down the oceanfront as well across the bay. In some cases, there may even be private beach access. Not a whole lot of that. For the most part, it's public. So the flip side to that is, let's say that you are one of those folks that's living right there. It's at 81st Street. There's a public beach access right there in front of your house. Well, guess what? You're going to have people parking on your street. They're the little short dead ends. The streets aren't very wide. There's a good chance that you're going to have folks parking right in front of your house. Sometimes it can be a little annoying, let's be honest. You may not like that. And you can't just tell people to stop. It's a public street. They can park there. They can't block your driveway. They can't block your trash cans, things like that. But it's right there. So some folks don't care for that. They may want to be across Atlantic Avenue because then there's less people trying to park there and you just walk across. There's crosswalks and stoplights at many crossing locations to get you right to that public beach access. Up on Chicks Beach area, it's a little bit different. There's not nearly as much parking. You're going to be parking right there, say maybe on Page Avenue, and you're trying to find a parking spot, and you're trying to find a public access. You can walk there. The parking can be a little bit different, and if it's rained, there can be a little bit of flooding in the streets. So you might be going through some puddles and things. But, in general, it's a great place to go. You can go all the way from Chicks Beach all the way out, Ocean View, out to Willoughby if you wanted for some great Chesapeake Bay beach access. So that's great. The next great thing about living in Virginia Beach, waterfront living. Again, with the water. Even if you're not on the beach, there's plenty of salt water or brackish water access. Many folks, if you're over there, Bay Colony, Little Neck, Great Neck, Bird Neck Point, or near the Elizabeth River, you are right there on the water, and you might have a seawall where you can keep your boat, or a pier right there off your backyard, and you can have your boat either in the water year round or maybe on a lift. Personally, we have a seawall and we have a boat lift, and we keep our boat on the lift right into the water. In our case, we have water deep enough to get the boat in or out, high tide, low tide, even to the lowest of the low tides, we can still get our boat in and out. Not all waterfront access in Virginia Beach is like that. Some of it is rather tidal, meaning, TIDAL, tidal, so that you have, as the water comes in and out, you may not be able to get your boat in or out. Now, it depends. If you have a canoe, you only need a few inches of water, depending on how much you put in the boat, right? If you have a pontoon boat, you need about, 12, 16 inches or so, and bring the prop up and you can get that thing in or out, depending on how it's loaded. On the other hand, you got a 26-foot Sea Ray, you're gonna need about 4 feet. So it depends on what kind of boat you have, as far as how easy it is to get in or out of the water right there in some of the inland waterways. We're not talking about the ocean. We're not talking about the bay. We're talking about the inland waterways. There's also plenty of different marinas where you can store your boat. So whether it's the Tidewater Yacht over in Portsmouth or the one up at Lynn Haven, there's plenty of places where you can keep your boat either in the water or maybe even in like the boatel where they go in with the forklift, pick your boat up, put it in the water. And in some cases, there's even folks who do the part-time rental where you basically pay a membership fee and check out a boat, use it, and then return it, and you don't have to maintain it. Also a great option. So all sorts of great things about living on the water, and whether you live on the water or near it, you have access to the water. Lots of public boat launches, lots of places where you can go out and get a boat in the water or just throw a line in the water and go fishing, maybe go crabbing and have some great time down out on the water. The third great thing about Virginia Beach is the entertainment, the restaurants. There's so many great places to eat and entertain here. I had an instance where last week I had a friend of mine say, hey, I'm taking my girlfriend out for dinner. I want a great place for seafood. What do you recommend? The problem was not me coming up with a place to recommend to them. It was trying to figure out which of the 78 different places that I would recommend do I want them to go to. So I narrowed it down to 4 in different parts of the city. When it comes to just great seafood or anything else, there's lots of great restaurants, lots of great entertainment, and lots of great things to do here in Virginia Beach. Now, on the flip side, there are some problems with Virginia Beach. Notably, number one, the jet noise. So anytime you're in Virginia Beach, you're going to see and hear, you're going to hear the sound of freedom wherever you are. Because I tell you what, Naval Air Station Oceana, it's right there. It's the East Coast Master Jet Base. There are tons of airplanes that are flying in and out of there every day. I know, I used to be a pilot for one of those. I used to fly every day, and we make a lot of noise, especially if you're nearby. There are certain neighborhoods down to the south or the north of Oceana that get the most noise, and there are certainly some other neighborhoods nearby that just get a little. Much of the city of Virginia Beach actually is relatively quiet, but there are places you need to be aware of. So if you're down in the Red Mill area down south, or perhaps you're up north of right there at the tourist area, you're going to see the jets coming and going constantly just because of the way the runways are oriented for the prevailing winds in the area. That's a thing. You need to be aware of it. Matter of fact, when you buy and sell a house here, we are obligated to disclose and share the information about the noise hazards and where you are in the footprint of that noise. So it's pretty cool. It's called the ACUs, and we'll talk about that in depth when we get to that point. The number 2 problem with Virginia Beach is the tourist traffic. So during the summertime, the biggest industry in Virginia Beach is tourism. The two big industries here are the military and tourism, right? And so in the summertime, you get a lot of tourist traffic, and you're going to find that sometimes your way's going to be blocked if you want to get down to the ocean front. The rest of the area, it's not too bad. Now, there's not much in the way of main arteries to get around Virginia Beach. There's 264 that goes straight through the middle. That's great. The rest of the time, if you're trying to get from point to point, it can be a little bit difficult because whether you might have to go around Oceana or you might have to go around a waterway, and there might just not be a road that goes direct where you want to go. That's okay. That can be an issue. I will say that base traffic in the mornings and afternoons on a typical normal workday can slow you down a little bit. Also, if you're on 264 going towards Norfolk in the morning or away from Norfolk in the afternoon, you're going to get stuck in some traffic. There are HOV lanes. There are surge pricing on the toll roads to help alleviate some of that. That said, there can be a problem with traffic in Virginia Beach. And the number 3 problem with Virginia Beach, it's just a thing. The cost of living here is a little bit higher than some of the other cities. So Virginia Beach, median home price about $340. The whole area, it's about $310 to $315. So the housing in Virginia Beach, a little bit more expensive. I would say that if you're going out and you want to buy you're going out to a restaurant or something like that, it's going to be cheaper than, say, if you were out in Washington, D.C. or maybe in San Diego. It's going to be more expensive than if you're, say, in the Midwest. Same thing with gasoline. If you want to go out and buy gas, our gas right now is right around $4 a gallon at the time I'm recording this, and it's $6.50 in California. That's the relative cost. It's less expensive than California for utilities and gas. Of course, what isn't less expensive than California? But compared to the rest of the country, it is a little bit more expensive in Virginia Beach than other places. Not as expensive as, say, Washington, D.C. or New York, though. So there we go. There's the pros and the cons of living in Virginia Beach in a nutshell. The greatest things about it is near the water. You're by the ocean. The entertainment and the restaurants are absolutely amazing. It's great. All right. If you have any questions, you want to give me a call, please give me a call.